The major adversary of the plot is Artyom, Yulia's ex-boyfriend who is now the main enemy, and her daughter Yulia, who falls in love with the alien Hikon. Colonel Valentin Lebedev oversees the military operation. Hikon is a member of a highly developed humanoid species that sneaks onto Earth to do study. A shower of meteors wrecked his spacecraft. His spaceship was shot at by the Russian Air Force after they mistakenly believed it to be a NATO surveillance satellite. As a result, hundreds of people were killed when the spacecraft crashed into multiple Moscow skyscrapers. Yulia's friend Svetlana was killed while watching meteors on the same day that Artyom and Yulia had concluded their meteor watching session. The Russian authorities made the decision to let the ship mend itself without speaking to its occupants. Moscow was placed under curfew, and the landing area was walled off, guarded, and evacuated. In the meantime, Yulia, Artyom, and his pals Karetin, Ruslan, and Piton get into the crash scene to look into the alien. They beat him up and make him crash into a building, then they get his armor back before they are discovered by an army patrol. A different day, Yulia sneaks back to get the alien and gives him to a geeky classmate named Google so that he can get better. Examining his corpse, she finds a water-manipulating wristband developing on her right wrist. The alien, who goes by Hikon, tells them he is searching for a gadget called Shilk that will allow him to travel through space without damaging his body. At first, he is skeptical of Earth and its inhabitants. Shilk seems to be drawing water, just like the spacecraft. The police misidentify him as a drug addict while he searches the streets for the device, and they take him to a police station where he will be questioned. Concurrently, Artyom and his companions take their vehicle to notify Colonel Lebedev about the armor of the extraterrestrial that they had concealed in their garage, and discover a mob that is upset about water shortages while the spacecraft seems to be absorbing water to fix itself. Ruslan makes the decision to incite the throng into an unruly melee. As he attempts to incite unrest, Artyom is struck by a police officer's baton and transported to the police station, where he fails to inform Colonel Lebedev of his discoveries. Yulia visits her father in an attempt to obtain Shilk, and when she tells him that she is expecting Hikon's kid, he ends his meeting with his officers. She says this, not just out of frustration that he did not spend much time with her after her mother passed away, but also to divert his attention and allow Hikon to disguising himself as a scientist and get Shilk from its container. In a phone call to Artyom, Yulia admits her true love for Hikon, just as Artyom and his companions come to beat up the alien. When one of Artyom's companions tries to shoot Hikon, Hikon fights back, and Ruslan is accidentally shot in the process. In order to avoid being arrested by the authorities, Artyom and one of his companions depart. He claims this occurrence in an attempt to rally a large number of supporters and organize an assault on Hikon's spacecraft to get revenge on Ruslan, whom he believes was killed by the alien. Piton occasionally shows skepticism towards Artyom's objectives, despite his early endorsement. When Artyom's party breaches a police barricade, multiple other robotic suits emerge to engage in combat with the mob. Hikon and Yulia drive a military car through the police blockade and the crowd to get him and Shilk back to their ship, all the while battling Artyom, who uses Hikon's suit to go on an angry rampage. After Hikon overcomes Artyom, Artyom uses a falling military gun to shoot both Hikon and Yulia. Weeping over this, Colonel Lebedev follows a number of walking suits as they transport Yulia and Hikon to the spaceship, where Yulia's wounds are being treated with water by the technology. Lebedev also poses queries to the spaceship's computer concerning Hikon's mission to monitor Earth, given that the planet's history of conflict and violent cultures have made interplanetary contact extremely risky. But the authorities in the computer have changed the findings of their earthly study because of Yulia's love for Hikon and her readiness to stand by him. The spaceship leaves and lets go of extra water, and Yulia, her father, and the others go back to their regular lives. Artyom is detained in the interim and is probably taken to a prison camp. Yulia sings the movie's theme song in the very end. The truth is that we trust one alien from far away more than we trust ourselves.